And welcome back, and it is the Further Maths 5 a day for the 19th of February. Let's have a look at the first question. Okay, so we have a straightforward factorise. Now, you're doing a Further Maths exam, so I think it's probably worth having a good go at making sure you can intelligently guess these. I don't know what the answer is, but I would suggest to you there's a couple of numbers which probably make some sense. And that is, I would notice that's the minus, and that's a minus as well. So one of these is going to be a minus, and one of these is going to be a plus. Without being silly about the numbers, it's very likely that's a 1 times 3, or technically a minus 1 times 3. So therefore it's either going to be minus 3 or a plus 3. Also, and I will say this is a slightly harder one than the other ones, that's a 4, which is probably going to be a 2 and 2, but might at a stretch be a 4 and 1. Now I'm going to guess it's a 2 and a 2. So I'm going to guess it's 2x there, 2x there. Now I want minus 4x. So if I multiply 2x by 3, well, I'm going to get 2 times 3 is positive 6, and I can't get anywhere near minus 4. So therefore, I think it's most likely that the 3 goes here, which gives me 2x times minus 3, which is minus 6x, add back 2x, and therefore I get my minus 4x. And that will be my answer. Again, some of these are easier to work out than others, but I would say that's a relatively straightforward one to think your way through. Next one. Okay, so this is a rationalise the denominator question, and it's what's sometimes called the hard version, and that is because you have a plus or a minus on the bottom. The good news is there is just a technique here. This is very much a textbook question. You know what to do or you don't. So it's going to be 8 plus 3 root 6 on the top and the bottom, because you're multiplying by 1, so that's fine, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do my working over here. 8 times root 6 is going to be 8 root 6. Root 6 times 3 root 6 is going to be plus 3. Root 6 times 6 is 6. Minus 1 times 8, which is minus 8. Minus 3 root 6. And I'll collect all those in a second. Then, now, because I know it's the difference of two squares, I just need to multiply the left thing, or square the left thing and square the right thing. So 8 squared is 64. And 3 root 6 times 3 root 6, so let's write this down. So 3 root 6 times 3 root 6 is 9, 3 times 3. Root 6 times root 6 is 6. 9 times 6 is 54, so it's 64 minus 54. So let's tidy this top bit up. So 8 root 6 minus 3 root 6 is 5 root 6. 3 times 6 is 18, minus 8 is plus 10. And I'm dividing all of that by 10. This, I think, is a perfectly acceptable answer. In fact, I think this is a bit neater. You could, if you wanted to, divide it into 2. So you've got a half root 6, in other words, 5 over 10 times root 6, plus 10 over 10, which is 1. And that is also an answer you could use. Either way, that is question done. Next question. All right, shown below is a graph of y equals f of x. The point minus 3, 2 is a minimum point, as on the graph, and the point 1, 6 is a maximum point, as on the graph. They're actually called local minimum, local maximum, but that's okay. Write down the range of values for which f of x is an increasing function. Now, of course it is a case that increasing means it's going up, but actually an increasing function is defined to be where the first derivative is greater than 0. So if you think about the gradient here is negative, and then it becomes positive because I'm going up, and then it's negative again. So the question is basically saying, where is the gradient positive? And it is between, as a range, it's between the x values of 1 and minus 3. In other words, this x value here and this x value here. Now, could you include 1 and minus 3 and 1? You could. It's a bit of a debate between maths teachers, and to be honest, you don't need to care about that. The point is it is between the values of minus 3 and 1. Okay, final question. Let's move the screen slightly. Right, what do I have? It's a clever question. Okay, so what it's asking me to do, it looks horrible, and actually it's not that nice, but it's very doable. Is I'm going to put 2x into here and here, and then I'm going to put x minus 1 into here and here. I'm going to expand the functions, equal it to 4, and then solve it. And I would also notice it says 2 decimal places, which suggests to me I'm probably going to get a quadratic, because it also says answers, not answer. And I'm going to have to use a quadratic function because it won't factorize easily. Let's just give it a go. Now I'm going to try and do this not in one, but I'm going to jump straight into it. So if I put 2x into my function, that's going to give me 2x squared minus 3 times 2x. Then if I put x minus 1 in, now I'm taking this away, so I've got to be careful. So it's minus x minus 1 all squared. And then minus minus is a plus, so plus 3x minus 1. Let's expand some of these brackets. So that's going to give me 4x squared minus 6x minus, now you've got to be careful here. So it's x squared minus 2x plus 1. So if I take that away, it's minus x squared. So minus x squared plus 2x minus 1 plus 3x minus 3. Wow. Right, now very carefully collect. So 4x squared minus x squared is 3x squared. Minus 6x plus 2x is minus 4x. Plus 3x is minus x. And minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4. Take away another 4 is minus 8. And that gives me 0. Now just be clear what I did there. I brought that 4 across, which is what gave me the minus 8. Not a huge amount of space, so I kind of did that in one go. Now I already know I'm going to use a quadratic formula because it's 2 decimal places. So that means that x is going to be equal to minus minus 1, which is 1, plus minus the square root of 1 minus 4 times 3 times minus 8. So I'm going to change that to a plus. And all of that's divided by 6. In other words, 2 times 3. Okay. Let's actually do it slightly different. Let's do the plus here and let's do the minus here. All right, that's slightly neat. You can see what I'm doing. So in other words, when I work out the plus 1 and the minus 1. So the plus 1 is going to be, well, 4 times 3 times 8 plus 1 is 97. So it's going to be 1 plus the square root of 97 divided by 6, which is 1.81. And the negative 1 is going to be 1 minus the square root of 97 divided by 6, which is going to be minus 1.47. Give your answers to 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places is what I've done. That is my answer to the question, and I am done with that question. In fact, I'm done with today. Again, good mix of questions. I've got to stop saying that, but it's really true. Any questions down below, do ask. I will come back to you. If not, do like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Thanks all.